The ground beneath your feet feels solid, stable, unchanging, eternal. But in truth, it's moving. Always. Beneath the cities, the oceans, the mountains, the earth is alive. And sometimes it reminds us just how fragile that illusion of stability really is. Just minutes ago, seismic sensors around the Pacific detected unusual movements, deep tremors that don't fit the usual pattern. Some scientists believe they could be the prelude to something far bigger, a megaquake capable of changing coastlines, shifting continents, and rewriting maps overnight. If that sounds impossible, consider this. Earth's crust stores energy equivalent to millions of nuclear bombs. When it releases even a fraction of it, the results are catastrophic. Today, we'll uncover 3 signs that experts say may reveal when a megaquake is near. We'll explore how tectonic plates build up invisible tension, how animals can sense disaster before any instrument can, and what history has already told us about the world's most violent quakes. Stay with me until the end, because these clues, when combined, might show us not just how the next megaquake will strike, but where and when it could happen. If you could stand on the edge of the Pacific Ocean and look down, thousands of kilometers through water and rock, you'd see something extraordinary. A mosaic of enormous plates, like pieces of a shattered puzzle, slowly grinding against each other. These tectonic plates, massive slabs of rock floating on a molten sea of magma, are in constant motion. They collide, slip, and dive beneath one another in a process called subduction. It's this relentless motion that fuels volcanic eruptions, creates mountain ranges, and when the pressure becomes too much, triggers earthquakes. In the past few years, scientists have recorded unusual movements along several critical zones: the Japan Trench, the Cascadia subduction zone, and the Peru-Chile Trench. Tiny shifts, sometimes just a few millimeters a year, but enough to suggest the crust is storing enormous tension. Using satellites equipped with INSAR technology and ultra-precise GPS systems, geologists can see these shifts in near real time. In some cases, the ground bulges upwards, a sign that strain is building below. Other times, areas sink slightly as energy begins to lock along fault lines. Before the 2011 Tohoku earthquake, the one that unleashed a tsunami and crippled Japan's Fukushima nuclear plant, satellite data showed months of silent deformation. The land was literally bending under pressure. And then, it snapped. When that energy released, the seafloor rose by several meters in an instant, displacing billions of tons of water. The wave that followed moved faster than a jet airplane. Monitoring tectonic movement gives us measurable data. We can see where stress is building. It's the closest thing to watching the Earth breathe. But the crust doesn't always play by the rules. Some faults release stress slowly in silent earthquakes, barely noticeable at the surface. Others stay quiet for centuries, only to rupture without warning. The Earth doesn't give countdowns. It just holds its breath and lets go. Imagine this. A dog begins barking in the middle of the night. Birds suddenly take flight. Fish swim in frantic circles. Moments later, the ground starts to shake. For centuries, people have told stories of animals sensing earthquakes before humans do. Ancient Chinese records from as early as 373 BCE mention snakes leaving their burrows during winter, just before massive quakes struck. Modern science is beginning to understand why. Many animals can detect infrasound, vibrations below human hearing. They sense changes in electromagnetic fields that occur when rocks deep underground fracture. Some even feel the subtle P waves that travel faster than the destructive seismic waves that follow. In 2004, before the Indian Ocean megaquake, elephants in Thailand broke free from their chains and ran inland. Birds vanished from coastal trees. When the tsunami hit hours later, those animals were nowhere near the shore. Similar reports came from Indonesia, Sri Lanka, and India. Wild animals had fled before disaster struck. Scientists now use this information to supplement sensor data. In Italy and Japan, research stations monitored livestock movements, using cameras and AI to detect sudden restlessness in animals before seismic activity. It's not foolproof, Animal behavior can be chaotic and unpredictable. But, as one Japanese seismologist said, if thousands of animals react at once, but we should listen. Animals, after all, are part of the same Earth system we are. They just pay closer attention. The Earth never forgets. Every scar on its surface tells a story. A record of destruction, of movement, of renewal. By studying historical seismic patterns, scientists can predict where energy is most likely to be released next. Take the San Andreas Fault in California, one of the most famous fractures on the planet. The last truly massive quake there struck in 1857, known as the Fort Tejon earthquake. It tore a 350-kilometer gash through the landscape and was so powerful that rivers changed course. Statistically, that region is overdue for another major rupture. Or consider the Nankai Trough in Japan, which has produced magnitude 8 earthquakes roughly every 100 to 150 years. The last one was in 1946. Do the math. Japan is again approaching the danger window. And then there's Cascadia, off the Pacific Northwest of North America. In January of the year 1700, a massive quake struck the region, generating a tsunami that crossed the Pacific and hit Japan. For centuries, the event was only legend, until Japanese historians matched tsunami records with tree ring data from dead forest in Oregon. The two stories aligned perfectly. By piecing together geological, biological, and written records, scientists can reconstruct Earth's seismic history like detectives solving an ancient crime. The pattern is clear. The longer a fault stays silent, the louder it eventually speaks. Now here's where it gets interesting. What if these three signs, like shifting plates, animal behavior, and historical cycles, aren't separate clues, but parts of one massive interconnected system? Some researchers believe that planet-wide stress synchronization can occur, meaning that when one major fault releases its energy, it can subtly trigger others around the globe. When the 2004 Indian Ocean earthquake struck, within weeks, seismic activity spiked worldwide. The 2010 Chile and 2011 Japan quakes followed within a similar global window of stress redistribution. This doesn't mean one causes the other directly, but the Earth's crust behaves like a web. Tug one thread, and tension ripples across the entire planet. Imagine the surface of a drum. One strike can set the whole instrument vibrating. The same principle may apply to tectonic plates. So when scientists detect unusual global patterns, synchronized minor quakes, deep tremors, magnetic fluctuations, it's not panic, it's awareness. It's the Earth whispering before it roars. To understand the scale, let's visualize it. A magnitude 9.0 earthquake releases as much energy as 32 billion kilograms of TNT, roughly the combined yield of all nuclear weapons on Earth. The ground doesn't just shake, it rolls. Bridges twist like ribbons. Coastlines sink or rise by meters. In some cases, the Earth's rotation actually changes by milliseconds. In Chile, 1960, the largest recorded earthquake in history, magnitude 9.5, shortened the length of a day on Earth. That's how powerful these events are. After a megaquake, the aftershocks can last for months or even years as the crust resettles. Entire regions enter new geological eras. Rivers change paths, mountains rise, and oceans expand. When we talk about a megaquake, we're not just talking about destruction. We're talking about planetary transformation. We can't stop the ground from moving, but we can learn. We can prepare. Modern earthquake early warning systems like Japan's EEW network can detect primary waves seconds before the destructive secondary waves arrive, giving people precious time to duck, cover, and shut down power plants or trains. Cities like Tokyo, San Francisco, and Santiago are now built on shock-absorbing foundations, designed to sway instead of shatter. But millions still live in high-risk zones with no such protection. Preparation means awareness, knowing evacuation routes, building emergency kits, listening not just to scientists, but to the planet itself. Because every megaquake ever recorded has given us warnings. We just haven't always recognized them. The ground beneath us is not solid, and it's a restless ocean of stone. And while we can't predict the exact moment the next megaquake will strike, we can read the signs. The shifting of the plates, the instinct of the animals, the memory of the Earth itself. Together they form a message, a warning, and a challenge for humanity to pay attention. Because the next megaquake is not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And when it comes, it will test everything we've learned and everything we've built. If you found this exploration fascinating, let me know in the comments. Which sign do you think is the most reliable? The science, the animals, or the patterns of history? Subscribe for more deep dives into the forces shaping our planet. And remember, the Earth beneath us is never truly still.